So in this interview, Piers Morgan, he asked a question, right? And what I what I already what I understood when when he asked the question, I wonder, is it mockery? Like with these people, I wonder sometimes, is it mockery, or is it just their insanity that makes them ask these questions that they already know the answer to, right? That's what makes them so evil, right? You know, like I watched this and it just oozes wickedness and evil, right? It's almost like they're mocking people. And so he asks a question. He says, um, how do we resolve all this? And what we find is that, well, they already know the answer to this, but the Bible also knows the answer to this. I'm gonna play what he said.
Getting resolved. It seemed so intractable, but then, as I always say, so did the Northern Ireland conflict. That seemed intractable when the IRA were committing terror atrocities, but they eventually did get to peace. Can you see a pathway here to peace, and what does it look like?
So he says, do you see a pathway to peace, and what does it look like? Right? That was his question. How does it all get resolved? Right? Do we see a peace to path, a pathway to peace, and how does it all get resolved? That's a good question, right? That's a good question. Right? And I'm gonna talk about a couple of things real quick. So there was something that happened with Elon Musk, right? And also Chris Brown, right? And so understanding like what Elon Musk in Palestine, I want to make the connection there, right? So we see what happened. Elon Musk gets cut by by Ish, right? By the Ish people. Stand by. So Elon Musk goes to Israel, right? They started calling him uh, an anti-Semite, right? And then they started canceling all his. They said he was coalescing with anti-Semites, so they started canceling all his advertising on his for his businesses, and pulling back investment in his business. So he gets cut, and he goes and apologizes to the president, I guess, of Israel, and says he's here to show his support for the Israelis, right? Because they basically targeted him for destruction. And so he goes and kisses the ring, right? Everybody has to kiss the ring, right? There's something to be said when the richest man in America gets cut by these people, right? You see Kanye West, Nick Cannon, Elon Musk. Nobody can resist, nobody can resist, right? At the same time, you watch them genocide a group of people, kill 15,000 people, thousands of children, unarmed children, right? And you watch the richest man. So you watching and you don't understand Revelations 2 and 9, right? You don't understand when the Bible said the world is given into the hands of the wicked. You don't understand what that means, right? When the richest man in the world has to go and kiss the ring of the wickedest man in the world, right? Well, they both wicked, but obviously, birds of a feather flock together, right? And nobody can resist, you see. And so, with the something I was thinking, right, and it's true, like integration and diversity is humiliation and subjugation, right? This is why you don't want to be integrated in diversity with them, right? Why would you want to be integrated in diversity with people that have a, carte blanche to humiliate you What happened to freedom of speech? Right? There's no freedom of speech or anything. It's all fake. Right? When the richest man in the world don't have freedom of speech, then you know you, as a poor motherfucker, you definitely ain't got no freedom of speech. Right? Like, you can say shit, but how free you are is a whole different, you can say shit, but you see, it comes with a penalty, just like Elon Musk, right? Just like the Palestinians, right? They say shit over there, you get killed, right? So it's not really no freedom of speech, right? You say the wrong thing in the wrong place, and you get targeted, right? Like Palestinian activists, they say something. They say Israel is the greatest democracy in the Middle East, in that part of the world. And then some 18-year-old girl who, Palestinian says something. Next thing you know, they kick in her door and arrest her, possibly shoot one of her parents, or kill somebody. Like, what happened to freedom of speech? Right? It's all bullshit. Right? And then you see, like, the mechanisms of control being put on people, right? They even, where they coming after everybody. Like, I think they came after Chris Brown now. Said he was dancing to a Kanye West song, and they didn't like something in the song, and it was anti-Semite, and now he got apologized, and Chris Brown got kissed that ring, right? They see what they're doing. These people are toxic. They try to humiliate everybody. This shit is not pure Nazism, right? These ish people, so they try to humiliate you, right? I really can't say a lot of what I want to say because we're on YouTube, which is basically, under control. You know what I mean? You can't say certain things, right? Or they'll report you, you know what I'm saying, to ish, right? Because everybody, you have to be reported to ish, right? You get reported to the synagogue of Satan, you see? And then you know what I mean? And so you lose your job, you lose your businesses, right? They oppress you everywhere, right? They oppress the richest man in America. So what do you see going on here? A fight between, this is like a white on white crime, right? A fight between the Judeo-Christian, the Anglo-Saxon, Elon Musk, and the Judeo-Christian. Well, who won? The Judeo-Christians won. You see? They won. They took over, right? And I want to say something, but I don't know. I'm going to have to say it on my backup channel, right? But if you watch this, you understand something, right? If you really paying attention to the moves being made, then you understand why certain people in the past they wasn't feeling them. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't really feeling them because of what they doing now. What they doing now is what they was doing back then, right? To people, see, and so, but I'm gonna get off of that third rail and just say this, right? Integration and diversity is humiliation and disrespect, right? And this is why, like, watching what these people do to people, see, so when you integrate with them, then they have an ability to oppress you. So it's just a refined form of slavery and apartheid and Jim Crow, right? So you don't never, that's why integration is gonna be destroyed. That's why, see, this proves what the Bible says, and I think I'll get into that. This proves what Matthew says. This proves what Revelation says. this proves what Joel says, right? And I'm gonna end this on with some quotes so that it won't be just my words speaking. You'll see that it's prophetic, right? Not me being a prophet, but the Bible is prophetic, right? That it makes sense. They make the Bible make sense. You see what I'm saying? And not in a predictive programming way. It's just that the Bible, the end was written in the beginning, right? These people, they fear that. You see? The end was written in the beginning. That's all it was. It was just these very prophetic, soldiers, warriors, right? And different men. You see, they was rebels and prophets, right? As it was written in the book of Acts in the Bible, right? They wrote about these people. You see? And so, but in the Bible, it gives the solution. Like Piers Morgan, he said, what is the solution to all of this? It's written in the Bible. And where it talks about, integration and diversity, right? This is the reason why you shouldn't be integrated in diversity with these people, right? Because when you're integrated with people who, number one, don't like you, don't have your best interests at heart, right? And want to oppress and subjugate you, well, you're just in close proximity with people so they can fuck you over, right? You're just putting yourself in close proximity so we can fuck you over. You see? That old saying where it said keep your friends close, your enemies close, your friends close, or whatever, right? They're just trying to stay close to you so that they can fuck you over and control you and destroy you and subjugate you, right? They're not keeping you around because, they're humanists and they want to make you equal with them, right? And all that bullshit, equality, and give you freedom and justice and democracy. Are you stupid? Are you really stupid? Right? They are coming in contact with you to fuck you over. It's like an alien invasion, right? If some aliens show up and you are goofy and dumb, like, oh shit, aliens is here to give me gifts, when they really here to eat you, right? There was a Twilight episode called To Serve Man, where some aliens showed up and they thought that they was coming to be of service to men, but they was coming to serve man on a platter for food. That's these people. They not coming in service of you. Are you fucking stupid? And so when you want to be integrated with them, right? Integration and diversity is the result of slavery and apartheid. It's the end result of slavery and apartheid, right? And so when you are in proximity, it puts you in proximity. For instance, the slave in America, right, what happened to his descendants? They went into in Argentina, those nasty ass people, they pretty much wiped them out, right? They ethnically cleansed the slave populations in places like Argentina. I would never go to Argentina. Goddamn Argentina, right? But in America, they said, well, it's integration and diversity. You see? For the Indians and the descendants of the slaves and the Indians and all these different indigenous groups, right? That was mixed in together, right? And so they told them, well, we got integration and diversity, right? But you somehow ended up at the bottom of the socio-economic ladder for the most part, right? Save a few blue ribbon Negroes or whatever, right? Few tokens, right? And buck dancers. You ended up at the bottom of the socio-economic ladder, you fools, right? And then they told you, well, you're integrating diversity, you got freedom and democracy, all this bullshit, right? And then you look at the game being played with like Palestine and Elon Musk. And you realize it's all bullshit. and it's all bad for you, like George Carlin said, right? You realize this is all bullshit, this is all bad for you. That being in proximity with these people allows you to be oppressed by them and constantly troubled and leashed upon and sucked off and fucked over, right? Do you think that the Palestinians, if they had a choice, that they want to be integrated with these people? What the fuck? Who the fuck are they right mind? I mean, as a glaring example, let's just use that as a glaring example. If you look at the drone footage, you look at what has happened to these people since these people came and said, listen, we are integrated, we are diversity, right? Boom, boom, boom. For the past 75, 80 years, it's been hell on earth for them. What was the fucking point of that? You understand? Like, if you need a glaring example, right, of the uselessness and the stupidity of having people in your proximity that are going to humiliate you, rob you, kill you, and subjugate you in different forms. Right? I'm just saying, what is the point of that? For you, if you say, well, I'm integration, I'm diversity, this is so awesome, right? Where is it awesome? You're putting on, all you're doing is putting people in proximity to you that really want to fuck you over. But you're too stupid and weak to figure it out, right? People are too stupid to figure it out, right? Or they're not strong enough to fight these people off at this point. Because if the richest man in the world can't fight them off, right? Can't fend for himself, right? What hope does the poor person on the street have? If Elon Musk can't fight them off, if they can ethnically cleanse a whole group of people in front of everybody and kill like 7,000 children and babies, right? And nobody can stop it. Now the UN is a Nazi organization. The United States, the UN, NATO, these places are Nazi organizations. Let's just call a spade a spade. When the UN was founded, it was a colonial organization. They didn't do shit for nobody. It was founded by a bunch of Nazis. Who most of the people, if you founded the founders of the United Nations, all of those countries were colonized at that time. Right? But these are the same people claiming they're going to help somebody. That doesn't make sense. Right? It's a dog and pony show. Right? And if the richest man in the world can't fend for himself, what hope is it for anybody else? I'm just saying, it's just a question. What hope is there for anybody against these people? Right? Anytime in front of the UN, in front of NATO, in front of the strongest country, America, all these countries, so-called powerful people, they're able to massacre, 7,000 children. Right? They're able to incinerate a church with women and children inside. Christians, right? Christians, I ain't talking about, they Arabs, but they was Christians. You're able to incinerate a church full of Christians in front of everybody. Right? Hamas. They can talk about Hamas. But what about the church full of Christians that they incinerated? What about those people? They weren't Hamas. They were a church full of Arab Christians. And they wiped that shit. What about them? Right? This shit is, and so the point is, right, not to belabor the point, but why would you want to be around people? Like it's like being married, it's like being in a relationship or a marriage with a drunk, a violent drunk man, like it was a woman, and he come in at night, he don't pay no bills, right? He rob out of your purse, He beat the shit out of you. He probably raped you, right? You don't want to have sex. He forced you to have sex, smack the shit out of you a few times. He fall asleep, get up, and then he leave the next day. Come back and do the same thing again. Why would you want him in your house? You say, I want to live with this man, I love him. Are you crazy? Are you stupid? Why would you want that man in your house? You should want to separate, lock the door, and you don't want him in your house. You shouldn't even want him in your fucking neighborhood. More or less your house. I'm just saying, like, how dumb do you have to be? Right? Are you a glutton for punishment? If you are, I'll give you my PayPal address. You can send me a bunch of money. If you just like being abused and robbed and shit and fucked over, well, I can give people my PayPal address. Yeah, I'll fuck you over. You can give me some of your money. Right? You know what I mean? Give me some of your money. I like talk greasy to you. I'll talk down to you. You can call me. I'll abuse you on the phone verbally. And then I'll give you my PayPal and you can send me some money. How about that? Right? Like black people in the United States. They give probably billions of dollars to an apartheid state in Israel, and then they get oppressed by these people in America, long distance. Well, shit, if you niggas is that dumb, call me. I'll cuss you the fuck out. I'll talk shit to you, and then you can forward me some money. If you like that kind of thing, if you into that kind of abuse, right? Call me. Let me do it to you. You don't got to go all the way to, Israel. If you want to just give people money to abuse you, right? You want to give money to a bunch of, racist, apartheid people, whatever, right? You just into that kind of thing. I don't know, whatever you into. I mean, I'm being facetious, but, it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense to reward people who are trying to subjugate you, right? It doesn't make sense to I just want to make the case, be up under and around and involved with people so that they can have more access to oppress you. You see what I'm saying? Like, for instance, like Russia, right? Benjamin Netanyahu can't force Vladimir Putin to come to Russia and kiss his ass. You see what I'm saying? That's what he's fighting. That's why he's fighting in Ukraine and he's fighting these people. Why is he fighting them? Because he don't want to have to go kiss their ass. You see the difference between Elon Musk and Vladimir Putin? Right? I'm just using that as a glaring example. Right? He got troops on the Israeli border. Putin today, they moved troops to the Israeli border with the Syrians. You see, to let them know, I'm not flying in to kiss your ass, right? That's why they fighting them. You understand what I'm saying? So, because people know that, he knows that having these people up under him and making a deal with them, and if you subjugate yourself to them, they just gonna fuck you over. So he's like, fuck it, I better off fighting them. And either they respect me as an equal, or we both go down in flames. You know what I mean? We go down in flames. We respect, because I'm not going the subjugation route. You see, that's what that's about, right? If you don't understand. Everybody don't go to kiss the ring, right? Everybody not gonna kiss their ass. And so when you don't kiss their ass and they can't buy you off, well, now there's a fight. And that's what's going on with Vladimir Putin. The Zio-Nazis, and the Anglo-Nazis can't buy him off. And they're trying to kill him, and it's not working. So now you got war, right? Now you got war. You see? And, he don't want, and they don't want to be integrated in diversity, right? They don't want to live under rainbow flags and all kinds of weird shit, right? I can't blame them. Who in their right mind, right? If you wasn't a victim of this shit for the past 400 years, who the fuck in their right mind would sign up for more of this shit? Would sign up to be up under some people that all they gotta do is start screaming anti-Semite or whatever. They cutting off your water, they cutting off your electricity, you getting fired from your job, they taking all your contracts, you getting, you know what I mean? Et cetera, et cetera. They bombing your house, right? Or whatever, right? Who in their right mind, you know, they bombing your church, who in their right mind would sign up to be involved with that? Would want to live up under that? But anyway, let me get to a couple of things real quick, right? Let me wrap this on this, right? You know what I mean? Let me wrap on this. So, so the Bible, I'm gonna take it to the Bible real quick, a couple of Bible verses that reinforce what I'm saying, right? That there will be, so Piers Morgan said, how do we get out of this? How do we get out of this? What is the solution? The Bible has the solution, right? What does the Bible say the solution is? Well, let's take a look, right? That you have to be, there will be a force into diversity and integration at the hands of the Lord of hosts. He's the only one that can stop it, because it's just another form of slavery, and the Antichrist is not going to voluntarily let go of the slaves. So when they tell you go back to Africa and all that, that's bullshit. There's military bases all over Africa, right? We know that South Africa is controlled by white people, and all of it pretty much is, right? And so anyway, but let's take a look at what the Bible says, right? How this is where we ended. What is the solution according to the Bible? So I'm going to end on this. So in Matthew, it's a prophecy of the end times, right? And he says in Matthew 13 and 30, let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest, I will say unto the reapers, see, the reapers are coming, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles and burn them. But gather the wheat into my barn. Now this is a parable. What is it talking about? It's talking about the end times, you see. So you have to be separated from the tares, you see. And the tare, what is a tare? A tare is something that looks like wheat, but it's not nutritious. It's a weed. It's considered kind of a weed, and you have to weed it out. So the tares have to be weeded out and separated, right? Where he says, at the given time, you see, you have to be separated. The tares have to be separated by the reapers, right? Who are the reapers? The reapers are the armies of the Most High God, of the Lord of hosts, you see, who have sworn allegiance to the Lord of hosts, right? They are the reapers, right? And it says that he will separate them, the tare and the wheat, in the different, so that's different groups, you see. There will be no more integration and diversity, right? Which is a good thing, because that is a result of slavery, you see. And he said, I will burn the tares. And he said, but the wheat shall be gathered into my barn so that I can take care of them, right? Again in Matthew, right, he says, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divide the sheep from the goats. I don't know how plain, you know, it seems like he has to keep saying it over and over and over again, right? The same thing, right? You have to be separated from the people that have oppressed you. You see, that are humiliating you, right? You have to be separated from them, not integrated in diversity with them, right? It doesn't make sense, right, to be integrated with people at the bottom of a socio-economic ladder so that they can humiliate you, rob you, and kill you, and fuck you over whenever they feel like it. You know what I mean? That's like having, it's almost like, you know, just like the farmer and he got some cows on his farm, right? They not in close proximity. He not integrated with the cows. He keep them over there close to him so he can eat them and get milk and shit like that and make jackets out of the leather, right? He's not integrated with the cows. It's different, motherfucker. Right? He's not integrated with the chickens. They are on the farm with him, but he eats them. It's different. It's not integration. He's not diverse. It's not a diverse farm atmosphere. It's a goddamn farm. The cows and the chickens are there on the farm with the farmer, not because they integrated, because they food. Stupid. That's why they're in close proximity, because he uses them. I don't know how plain, how much more plain to make it, right? But the solution is in the Bible, is in the prophecies of the Bible, right? See, this is what they never tell you. They never going to tell you this. You're going to find out the hard way. This is what they don't want you to know. They're not going to tell you. You're not going to figure out until the very last minute, right? You're not going to figure out by the very last minute, you see? Like, for instance, the Palestinians, the Arabs are finding out the hard way. Integration not working out for them. You see? In the hardest fashion possible, they're finding out. They're like, wow, this integration shit ain't working out. As you dig your babies from underneath some rubble of a church, right? As you dig out the body of your grandmother from underneath her house, right? As you pick up the parts of your children out of the middle of your young children, that you can find out the middle of the street and put their bodies in pillowcases, what's left of them. You say, wow, this integration shit ain't working out. This diversity and all this shit ain't working out real well. Something seems to be going wrong here. Right? Find out the hard way, right? You see, like black people had to find out doing Jim Crow and all this bullshit. Shit ain't really working out that great. Right? Where you got a bunch of people on top of you that can humiliate you. They put you at the bottom of a socioeconomic ladder, steal your resources, and then humiliate you and fuck you over and kill you, whatever, any kind, whenever they feel like it. And basically their response is, like, I'm gonna say this. Basically their response is this, right? Like, you lucky we don't fuck you over even more, right? I mean, that's kind of like, it's very, it's a very tyrannical response when you're dealing with them. Very humiliating, very tyrannical response, right? For everything they do, right? It's always, their response is, you lucky it's not worse, right? Basically, you know what I mean? And basically it's, and Nearly Fuller said, it's always a tacky, trashy, terroristic response to everything, right? You lucky we don't, and their attitude in dealing with them, like on your job or at school, I deal with it all the time. Their attitude is always the same. You lucky we don't fuck you over even worse. Take what we giving you or whatever, right? Deal with whatever we give you. Deal with whatever happens to your family and the people around you, and deal with all this bullshit, right? What happens on your job, at school, and whatever, right? And be happy no matter how, basic it is or whatever, whatever crumbs, scraps we're gonna allow you to have, and be happy we don't do worse to you, right? Be happy, if we give you a comfortable spot on the slave ship, whatever you got, you just better be happy with it, right? And that's like, so they make an example out of people, like, for instance, the Palestinians, the Arabs, right? They make an example out of them. And why are they making such a, I'm gonna end it on this. Why are they making such a horrible example out of them? Well, that's for the Negro in America. You see? That's for the Negro in Africa. That's for the Negro, that's for the Indian in South America or whatever, right? Whatever you think you are, wherever you are, right? That's for the people that they see as other than in the outside group. That's for their consumption. To say, hey, listen, you lucky. Stay in line, right? Because if you don't, you'll end up like these people. Right? So stand, don't get out of line. That example that of that horrible example of what they're doing to those people is to show you, like, listen, we don't care how far you come in 2023, right? We can do the same thing to you in 2023 that we was doing to your asses in 1823, right? It doesn't matter. You ain't going that far, right? We'll fuck you over royally. That's what that's for. That's for consumption. When you bring Elon Musk, you know, into Israel while they're genociding Arabs and make him kiss the ring, when you know, while you got, you know, the bodies of, you know, 7,000 children strewn all across the streets. You bring the richest man in the world, you know, around and make him kiss your ass in front of everybody, right? That's for the consumption of the cameras, so that the message can go out to the world. Don't be next. You know what I mean? When you go after Chris Brown or Kanye West or Kyrie Irving, that's just to say, listen, we're doing this to send you a message. That's all.